I have tried to film this video quite a few times, not just saying that, like here's actual proof of me trying to film this video before, and I have not been able to get the words out. I feel like I don't make any sense. This is a video I really didn't think that I was going to have to make so soon, but I am making this video right now because I want to update you guys on what's going on with my life. I already made a video explaining the situation briefly on Patreon, but today I'm ready to share it with the rest of my YouTube community. So here goes. 3 or 4 days after my boyfriend and I got back from St. Martin, we decided to break up. And it has been a really emotionally challenging week for me. We hung out yesterday and I feel like a week has passed and I am now able to step back and fully assess the situation for what it is and give you guys like my heartfelt, honest feelings about everything. And I always share my life with you guys, no matter how ugly things are. I am 100% honest on this channel, and it has earned me a lot of backlash and a lot of hate. A lot of people dislike me, but even the people that dislike me, I think they still continue to watch me because at least they can appreciate how raw I am and how little of a fuck I give. So thank you. Wow, that sounded conceited a little bit, didn't it? I know that people are going to have harsh things to say about me in reference to this breakup, and that's why I didn't want to make a video right away. And I also didn't want to go down the same road that I went down earlier last year when I had like a public meltdown and I posted a bunch of crying, sad, depressed, woe is me videos about my boyfriend. And the reason why I posted those was because I was getting involved with him. I thought everything was going fine. Then all of a sudden he put the brakes on it. And after like months of having sex with me and leading me on, told me that he believed that the age difference between us was not convenient for him. So that was very upsetting and depressing to me because I have this pattern in my life of being blindsided. I'm sorry. I have this habit of being blindsided by men. I get into these relationships with them thinking that they're great and everything's perfect and everything is fine, and then a few months later something crazy happens. Like I find out they're married, or I find out that they have like 3 other girlfriends. And with this case, it was like he was perfect in the beginning. Everything I ever wanted in a boyfriend, treated me so nicely, and then suddenly out of nowhere it's like, no, Stephanie, I don't want to date you. You're too young for me. I think there's a huge age gap between us and it's not going to work out. And I disagreed with him because I feel for a 26-year-old, I am pretty grounded. I don't like go out and party a lot. I'm pretty mature. I've been through a lot in my life. I am not interested in going out and dating multiple people or fucking around. I'm not a promiscuous person. So I just couldn't understand what he meant by the fact that, I just couldn't understand why he was so worried about the age difference. And we dated for about 4 to 5 months. And it never really got too serious. He never told me that he loved me, and I never said I did a few times when I was drunk. I'll admit that. I would say it to him when I was drunk, but he would never reply. He would always put up a wall, I guess. And I don't know if it was because he had emotional issues or because he just didn't love me. I don't think he had emotional issues. I just really truly don't think that he loved me. I think he cares about me very much. I think he likes me very much, but I just don't think that he fell for me like that. And that's totally fine. To a person like me who's slightly narcissistic, it is a little bit of a blow. Like, wow, you know, I've had guys professing their love to me after like a month, you know, and I've been with this guy, I've been seeing him for more than 5 months, and, you know, he can't really truly express how he feels towards me. And he traveled a lot, which also made me feel a little self-conscious. Not self-conscious, but I'm sorry. I'm not gonna edit this. I'm gonna be completely raw with you guys. It just didn't make me feel secure in the relationship, I guess is what you could say. But I looked past that and I enjoyed the time that we spent together. But a lot of the times I did find myself alone, and you guys know that is the case because, I mean, come on, I do live shows all the time. I'm always tweeting, like, I'm by myself, eating pizza by myself, drinking wine by myself, hanging out with my dog by myself. And so the past 4 or 5 months have been spent mostly alone because he does travel a lot, and he was like the only person that I have been hanging out with here in New York City. He's like my rock, my foundation here. And I guess in a way that's held me back from like going out and meeting people and experiencing things here in the city, because I've like been so tied to him and so attached to him, but he has been gone so often. And so there were many times during the relationship that I would catch myself feeling so lonely and feeling like I don't have a boyfriend. And then I'd have to remind myself like, oh, wait, you have a boyfriend, Stephanie. Why do you feel so alone? But I try to work past those feelings because he treated me so nicely, was so kind, and such a gentleman. And then came a time when his family found out about my YouTube channel, and this was a big deal, I guess, because his family is on the conservative side, as is he. He has described himself to be a straight-laced kind of guy, and as you guys know, I'm the opposite. And I think in this situation, it really was just opposites attract, because maybe he wanted someone fun and carefree because he's dated, you know, boring type of women. Maybe I was exciting for him, something new. And for me, he was maybe on the more boring side, but he was stable. He represented stability to me, which I've always wanted in my life and I've lacked, especially with men. I've dated very crazy artistic types who are just like all over the place and give me no sense of emotional stability at all. And after his family found out, this was about a month and a half ago, he told me that he was nervous about being associated with me through social media. So up until that point, we were friends on Facebook, we were friends on Instagram, and he said that it would be best for him and for his profession to completely disassociate himself from me on all forms of social media. So he like unfollowed me and everything. And that really bothered me. It was kind of like a blow, and I immediately felt on edge, thinking that now my boyfriend's family are like watching my channel and judging me and maybe potentially giving him a hard time about me, and now I feel like a burden. I just felt like a nuisance. Like in my head, I started to imagine the things that his family were saying, like, oh, how could you date that girl? Or like, why would you ever want to be with somebody like that? And he told me that his family actually asked him if he was my sugar daddy, which was kind of a blow to my confidence because I am so independent right now in my life, and I pride myself on that, and I work hard for what I have, and I don't have a lot, but I have enough, and I'm happy with it, and I've worked hard for it, and I'm proud of it. So it was almost like slightly belittling when he had that conversation with me, and it made me feel like shit. And I thought about breaking up with him that day when we had that conversation, but we had a vacation coming up, so we decided to hold off on breaking up and just like go on this vacation and then bring this up at a later time and talk about it then, which was very hard for me during the vacation and during that entire month, because all I was thinking about was, I'm going on vacation with this guy, I'm spending so much time with this guy, but underneath it all, it is crumbling. His family hates me. Like, it's already been us knowing each other for over half a year. I've never met a single person in his family. You know, I don't even want to meet them at this point because I know that they're just gonna look at me funny. Like I'm some kind of like circus clown or something. And not because I'm ashamed of what I do online. It's just like I know the type of people that don't like what I do. And I know that like there's no common ground there. So after the vacation, my anxiety level was so high, and I knew that I had to talk about this with him, and I knew that we needed to like sit down and get down to business. So a few days after we got back from vacation, I sat down with him and I told him how much this has all been bothering me. And I told him that even though I am upset with everything that's happened, I genuinely care for him and I only want the best for him. And I think he deserves somebody that's going to fit his life a lot better than I can. He deserves somebody he can introduce to his boss and then he can probably bring home to his parents. And I feel like he can find somebody whose lifestyle and whose job doesn't push his buttons. And I believe I deserve somebody who's going to be open-minded about what I do and embrace my life, even though it's messy and crazy and people have nasty things to say about it. People make really mean comments and call me a slut and a skank, but I'm not though. I'm just like extremely open and carefree, and like I believe there is the right person out there for everybody, and I don't think I was the right person for him, and he wasn't the right person for me. Even though we cared about each other, even though we got along so well, even though he was the nicest guy I'd ever been with, I'm still not prepared to settle for anything less than what I think I deserve. And I think he deserves not better, but I think better suited for him. And the same goes for me. And it was incredibly hard for me to come to that conclusion and make that decision, but I felt like it was a mature decision, and I am 26 now, and I don't really want to waste this man's time because he's almost 40, and I feel like if I waste any more of his time, it's gonna fuck him over more in the end than it is me, because, you know, I have more time. Like, he's a little late in the game with dating and everything. So, yes, we broke up, and then afterwards we hugged it out and decided that we were going to attempt to be friends. And a lot of people are going to tell me that that is impossible and it's hard to do, and I will completely agree with that, but you know, we just like spending time with each other so much that we are prepared for that obstacle. And if at any point it becomes too much, we're just going to put the brakes on it and say, listen, we need a few months off from seeing each other, and then maybe after that we can be friends. But we hung out this past weekend and we spent the entire day together. I brought Frank over, we went to the dog park, we had lunch, he made me dinner, and it was a lot of fun. It was like two friends hanging out, and we had a very deep discussion about our breakup. And I asked him, if I hadn't broken up with you, would you have broken up with me? And he said, no, I wasn't even really thinking about it. And I explained to him the reason why I chose to break up right now as opposed to break up in like 3 or 4 months. I feel like a relationship is like a house, and once you build the foundation, the first floor, the second floor, you furnish that house. Demolishing that house and rebuilding something new in place of that takes a lot more work, a lot more effort, and is a lot more difficult. And in our relationship, our house only had maybe like the first floor, so it's still easier to demolish that first floor and rebuild something different in its place. And in this case, it's to rebuild a friendship. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I'm going to just end it here because I feel like I've already gone off on a huge tangent with this video. I feel like I've already said everything I need to say. Thank you guys for being there for me. I love you. And whatever you're going through in your life, just know you are not alone. I'm going through the same thing you are. And it sucks, it hurts, but we will get through this together.